Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 46 of the Video Games Ahoy podcast. My name is Jonathan Radford, and today I'm joined by Daf Gape.
Oh, hello.
Daf Weeks.
Well, hello.
And Zach Hamilton.
Hello.
How are you doing, gents?
All
Very
good.
well,
It's good, man.
Very good. Very good. How's your week been?
Bit manic.
Good.
Busy week.
I don't know. Has it been a week?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks for me have been really weird. Just everything seems to like. I've been very quiet over the last couple of weeks, just because like so many things have been happening. But like everything's flying by. We've got a lot of news to talk about today, so I'm very excited to talk about some stuff. We'll talk about Nintendo.
No, I don't see that.
No, yeah, I was gonna say that. Dad was just saying beforehand. It's like, Johnny, you have Nintendo news. Is that like? I mean, if you didn't, then that'd be more of a shock.
Yeah, the day that you don't have Nintendo news, we're going to be trying to figure out if you've been kidnapped and you're trying to sending us a message.
There's like a robot in place of me, just being sensible. All right, let's talk about the podcast before. Before we actually get onto that, I just want to talk about last week. The first minute was amazing. When I was listening to it back, it was off the rails within like 1 minute. It was beautiful.
Oh, what did we talk about?
Oh, it was like the Guns versus Gloop and stuff like that. Within the first minute, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Apparently, I have sources that have told me that sludge is the worst of all.
Sludge.
Scientifically, sludge is like the worst thing.
Oh, I just love the word. It's just because it sounds the grossest. I think that sounds the worst. All right. If you are new to the podcast, then we are Video Games Ahoy, and if you know us well, then welcome back. How are you doing? We put these episodes out every Saturday morning, and you can listen to us via the podcast hosting site of your choice. There are many of them. Many of them. You probably know of at least one. God, I'm throwing everything off my head.
In fact, you're probably listening to us on it.
Unless you're listening to us via YouTube, in which case you can see our faces. I bet you're shocked at how disgusting we all look. Yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on podcasts all over the place. We're also on Patreon as well. You can actually listen to us over there. Some people do, which is great. And we'll talk about the Patreon later on. But we also have a Discord as well. I'll just mention the Discord, and if you'd like to join, then there's some info in the description just below that you can click on and come say hi. Yeah, we'd love to have you if you'd love to be there. We'll also be doing and I mentioned this last week, we're doing a special podcast over on Twitch on the 7th of April. I think we landed on previously, which is a Wednesday, which is the day we normally do it anyway. It might be a different day, but for now it's the 7th of April. It's the 50th podcast, which we're very excited about. So stay tuned. We'll have more info on that. And like I said, stick around to the end because we'll talk about Patreon at the end, I guess. That's it. Should we talk about some news, gents?
News.
I think
What's been happening?
Well, there's something we mentioned last year, which was pretty big, but it was actually confirmed yesterday that Microsoft have finally acquired ZeniMax Media, which is the parent company of Bethesda Softworks. So there's going to be a lot of things to discuss with this, because Phil Spencer actually spoke about exclusivity deals and stuff. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but we'll just read what Phil Spencer said on the Xbox's official website yesterday. He said, "This is an exciting day for Xbox. Today we officially complete the acquisition of ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. It's an honor to welcome the 8 incredibly talented development studios and their passionate global communities to the Xbox family. With regards to Xbox exclusive titles," Spencer said, "this is the next step in building an industry-leading first-party studios team, a commitment we have to our Xbox community. With the addition of the Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox consoles, PC, and Game Pass would be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players." He then said, and finished off by saying, "We will have more to share about this with our teams later in the year. In the meantime, to properly celebrate this special moment, we are bringing additional Bethesda games into Xbox Game Pass later this week. Stay tuned for more details." So, just before we get into it, one of the reasons why it was being held up is because I think it was to do with Arcane Studios and the EU, because they had to ratify it because of certain conditions of them being taken over. But I think that was done last week, so this is why it's taken a little bit long. That was holding everything up. I guess the main thing to take away from that, and I think we've known for so long that this is going to be happening, but I think the biggest question we've always had, and I think Phil Spencer's kind of hinted there, that kind of answered us really, in the sense that there are going to be exclusive games. I think we guessed this was going to happen, but which games do you guys think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to do Elder Scrolls? Do you think that would be the one they start off with? Do you think they do something earlier? Like, do they? I don't know, because I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Elder Scrolls or something else?
We've been getting Elder Scrolls news sort of for a few years now. I mean, we've had like a trailer, what I would very lightly call a trailer, but I mean they have talked. That is in development. Yeah. I think if they're going to do anything in the interim, it'll be a remake of something. You know, New Vegas is prime for that. But then they presumably don't have the assets built for that kind of stuff yet.
Yeah, well, as far as exclusivity goes, it'll be interesting to see. There were rumors recently about Starfield coming out this year.
Yes,
which is their sort of their Mass Effect, as it were. So we'll see what happens with that. From what he's saying, though, it sounds like everything we already know of won't be exclusive, but will have maybe exclusive features, or will have DLC. You know, like you always hear like Call of Duty getting like PlayStation players getting maps like 2 weeks before Xbox, PC, and everyone else plays.
Sure.
I can maybe see stuff like that. Maybe the DLC and the expansions come as part of Game Pass. So you don't have to pay for them extra. Whereas if you're playing Elder Scrolls 6 on PS5 and you want to get the expansion, you know, cough up for a season pass or what have you. But yeah, it sounds like nothing that's currently announced will be exclusive, but future games could be. And yeah, who knows what that means for Elder Scrolls 7 in 50 years' time. But
yeah. I was going to say, do you think that comes down purely then to contracts that have already been signed, and it's kind of pointless going back on those contracts because you kind of have to pay them out, and then you're just losing sales?
Yeah, I don't think they have any interest in like reneging on those contracts. Like, it's all about money at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if they're going to pay money to get out of those contracts, just the exclusivity, I think they're more than happy to take that extra dollar.
Sure. As
things are at the moment. Yeah. Daf Weeks, if things did become exclusive, do you reckon would that ever tempt you towards a Game Pass world? If Game Pass was cloud based as well?
Yeah, it would. I really like Fallout. I really like Elder Scrolls, and you know, I'd pay for that. I probably not enough to like buy sink $half a grand on a console.
Sure, but
yeah, it would.
It will be interesting when Xbox eventually come up with some sort of app, like an app for your TV, where you can just buy game. You don't have to buy the console. You can just buy Game Pass, and you can stream it through your TV. Because I can stream it through my phone. I try to play it through, but it doesn't. Obviously, playing through your phone is great, but it doesn't quite do it. And you're playing like Doom Eternal or something like that on a tiny, tiny screen. But I think this, like for me, I'm planning on getting an Xbox anyway. But the second you can play that on your TV, like, I will be getting Game Pass straight away. Like, if that happens before I am able to get an Xbox, because I imagine they must be trying to do it. I mean, that's purchase straight away.
I mean, sorry, go on, Jeff.
I was just going to say that they've got alpha testing on Stadia working on Xboxes. Yeah. Presumably as a part of getting xCloud and Game Pass via cloud gaming onto consoles. Especially the Xbox Series S. Like, I think we all thought that was going to be a massive thing. It doesn't have a disk drive, for instance, and it's so cheap. It'd be a way to play games at a higher level. But yeah, I think definitely with the cloud-based stuff and the exclusivity stuff, I think we're seeing day by day like steps towards what the future of Xbox is going to be, and presumably the future of gaming. Although Stadia is also in there, so we're also seeing the history of gaming.
the history of gaming. Yeah, Zach, what were you going to say?
Forgot. I don't think it's ever happened when we've been on this show before.
It's sure.
Yeah, it obviously wasn't that important.
But
one extra thing. Sorry, just
just go. Yeah.
what's more exciting for me about Bethesda is like Wolfenstein games. Like those are the kind of games.
Bethesda?
Yeah, so Bethesda, so ZeniMax, which then owns Bethesda Softworks, has Bethesda Game Studios, Arcane, which makes Dishonored, Prey.
I've got the list here if you want, Dev.
Go.
Yeah, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios.
Yeah, so that's like Evil
there's a lot.
Within,
Prey.
Dishonored, Prey, Wolfenstein, Doom.
Yep.
Some big dogs in there.
Yeah, it's like I think we've said this previously. Could you Xbox saying these games are now exclusive to Xbox is a huge thing, especially Fallout. I mean, especially Fallout, Elder Scrolls, those two games in particular. I mean, obviously you can check in Doom as well, and you can check in Wolfenstein. I mean, I love Dishonored. Dishonored 2 is one of my favorite games. I think it came out in 2017. It's a great game.
Yeah.
So I maybe not so much Doom and Wolfenstein, but though like the other three that I mentioned, I absolutely want to play the next games that come out. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they say, and there has to be something in it more. They can't just go, we'll keep them on all the consoles, because what's really in it for them? I know they want to make money. They're obviously there to make money, but still there has to be an incentive for people to buy Game Pass, and obviously that is definitely going to be it.
I mean, do you think there's a reality, a reality where Xbox and Microsoft can eke out other PlayStation basically?
How so?
Well, at a certain stage, presumably. I mean, I don't know what the reality, how possible it is, but if they were to buy out a bunch of other companies, and PlayStation couldn't keep up and didn't have enough games, basically. I mean, more importantly, would that be valuable to Microsoft? Like, if they not having a competitor, how useful is that? I mean, I appreciate that. I don't think we're there yet, but I think it's something that, at least in the old days, that seemed to be like on the money. You know what I mean? The fact that we did lose Sega. That was at the time. That was a big player. And I have to assume that was good news for everyone else. I have to assume PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo were all rubbing their hands at that one.
I don't know what you think, but I PS5, Sony are very innovative when it comes to a lot of aspects of console manufacturing, and the controller, for instance, is very innovative. Some of it is very innovative, but like, they're also really old-fashioned in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see a world where that might happen in the future. I think their install base is mad. And people are hungry for PS5s. So I don't think it would happen. I think Sony would hopefully, if they saw a downward trajectory, would act on it in the way that prevented that from happening. Because I think there would be a point where if Microsoft... They've got, 32 studios now? Or 23?
It's a lot.
23 maybe. Like, if it got to, 40 or 50, you get into the point now where, you're starting to monopolize the console industry. I mean, not literally, because you've always got Nintendo. But
it's a bit of a different ball game. You know what I mean? Like, when a AAA game makes it to Switch, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's usually far inferior.
It's a different experience. Like, owning a Switch is not the same as owning an Xbox.
Nope.
No, but then you don't get Mario and Link.
Well, quite. No, I'm not saying that they're not as good. I'm saying that they're different experiences. It's a different.
Yeah,
it's a different.
Sure.
It's not really a competition. I think that's part of what Nintendo's got.
Well, they complement each other more than
exactly.
They complement each other.
Exactly.
You buy a PlayStation 5 and you buy a Switch if you're gonna to get that coverage, I guess. But it is. I mean, it is going to be really interesting, and I do agree with what you said, Dav, as well. I kind of hope there isn't a point where they do start to not monopolize, but get to a point where it's starting to squeeze a little bit. I'm not sure if it will, because more than anything else, even if we just go by sales on consoles from the last generation, it was, I think, PlayStation sold 120 million, and Microsoft sold, I think it was 50. Realistically, all that's going to do is just going to push more people to buy either an Xbox console or Game Pass. I just think realistically, in my mind, this starts to feel more equal, because we know how good first-party games are from Sony.
Yeah.
at the same time, Microsoft have said that they want to buy more studios, which, especially a Japanese studio, that we've said that previously, and they've said it themselves. We want to buy more studios, so we'll just have to keep an eye out. But yeah, Bethesda is finally Microsoft, and we'll see how that goes. So we are going to move on to the Nintendo Switch, and this is something from Bloomberg, and I think we have spoken about this many, many, many times. The Nintendo Switch Pro, we have mentioned it many times, but I don't think we've ever really had something as comprehensive or something that explains what is actually going to be made as much as this, because this seems to be different. And I try not to put Switch Pro stuff in the news unless it's concrete stuff, but this seems to be a bit different. Anyway, Bloomberg's Takashi Mochizuki and Sohee Kim report that Nintendo company plans to unveil a model of its Switch gaming console equipped with a bigger Samsung OLED display this year, hoping the larger touchscreen can prop up demand in time for the holidays. Samsung Display Company will start mass production of 7-inch 720p resolution OLED panels as early as June, with an initial monthly target of just under 1 million units. The people who said this have obviously been asked not to be identified during discussing these internal matters. The displays are slated for shipment to assemblies around July, these people also said. And then, obviously, representatives for Nintendo and Samsung have completely denied this, as they would. But Nintendo, I think they did that with the new 3DS. They're like, no, there's no hardware revisions, and then literally the next month it was like, here it is. So they do it all the time. So I think we kind of have to ignore Nintendo when it comes to stuff like this in a weird way. So basically, the new display's resolution mirrors the current Switch and Switch Lite, but is an upgrade from the Switch's 6.2-inch and the Lite's 5.5-inch size. So there's a quote coming here. So the OLED panel will consume less battery, offer higher contrast, and possibly faster response time when compared to the Switch's current liquid crystal display. And it does have the ability, hoping that on the TV you'll have the ability to stream or be able to play games in 4K ultra high definition. But that will not be. It won't be actual 4K. It looks like it could be something like DLSS, which means it's just going to be up-resed in the actual console itself, but it's not actually going to be native 4K, which is going to be really interesting. But this does look like it's the first real tangible information we've had where a Switch Pro is coming, and I just want to get you guys' thoughts on it, because some people saw this and said that makes sense, it's more of a half step, and some people are like, I want the Switch too, and it's like, well, some people are disappointed with what they've seen, and I can understand why, but I want to get your guys' opinions on this. Zach, you said previously maybe the Switch Pro would be the thing you buy. Does any of that really interest you? A slightly bigger screen,
bigger screen. I like the idea. I like
4K
the idea
on the TV.
I like the idea of a bigger screen. I'm surprised they're not doing a 1080 handheld mode.
Well, since you say that, apparently scientifically, the size of the pixel, depending on relative to the distance away from your face, there's no point going more than 720 if you're holding it in your arm. At arm's length, 720p is the
most that you can actually take in.
And just
that's
interesting. Close to my 4K monitor. But for me, I'm not seeing it in 4K. I'd have to get further back to appreciate the difference.
That's interesting. Well, I guess then the logical conclusion, I don't know if this factors in as well, would be to up the frame rate. Because of course that's a big problem for them.
Well, so there's two things that because I've literally read so much about this over the last couple of months. So with regards to the 720p screen, one big element of it is battery life. Apparently, if it was a 1080p screen, it would massively reduce the battery life to a point where it kind of would the trade-off just wouldn't be worth it. And like Dav said, at that point as well, it just makes perfect sense. I mean, 720p here as well.
PS5 controller.
The other thing, what was the thing you said with frame rates? People have been overclocking their Switches for the last 2 years now, maybe even longer. And I've seen a couple of people discussing it on YouTube, saying that basically there are more games that can be run at higher frame rates with the Switch currently as it is. So maybe it's just a case of Nintendo just improving the internals slightly, and then just maybe overclocking it in a way that doesn't overheats everything. Doing it in the proper way, but it does feel like more games could be 60
that seems
frames
like
a
the
second.
most noticeable thing when you go and play Breath of the Wild, for instance, on your handheld. It's like the frame rate just immediately, anything happens on screen and the frame rate drops through the floor.
Yep. The forest,
it's not actually really a personal thing for me. Like frame rate isn't. It's not one of the things that upsets me in the world, which I know it really, it's harder on some people's eyes than others. But I do think that if you're going to do an upgrade to the Switch, you got to do something, right? Like a bigger screen's great and all, but it's only getting you so far, and I'm not convinced. I mean, presumably the price is going to be higher than the traditional Switch. What
I've read, I can only go on by what I've seen and people commenting around it. It looks like either it's going to drop the original Switch by £50,
right,
and that will replace the current Switch, or this one will come in at £50 higher.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this is all.
I suppose that's not a big. It's not a big cost for a bigger screen.
Yeah.
I guess, and some nice sort of. I don't really understand what you mean about the 4K thing, but I presume basically it's going to look nicer on the telly.
So basically, again, I can only go by what I'm not an expert on this, but from what I've read, it's basically it'll run natively at like 1080p, so it'll run at like 1080p, and then there's it manages to make it look like it's 4K.
Okay.
Which is it's just because I think some TVs do it naturally, but this is something
So DLSS is like an AI based 4K
Yeah.
rendering thing, but basically it goes right. What would this look like in 4K?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's smart.
So it
In
doesn't.
real
Yeah,
time.
it's like a huge thing, and a lot of people are talking about it as well. So it's really interesting, but a lot of people are obviously unhappy that it's not native 4K because it does look a little bit better, but to most people they wouldn't really notice the difference anyway. And I was thinking about this because there's a big thing for me. Like I'll ask Daf Weeks, for instance. You have a Nintendo Switch. Would you be interested in buying a Switch Pro, or are you just not bothered whatsoever?
I mean, if it was just me with a Switch, I'm happy with what I've got.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can play all the same games and the things that get released, I'll still be able to play them. I don't really care. Like, if my Switch broke and I needed a new one, there we go. Now we're talking. But as lies, I don't see there's a big enough reason to upgrade. I think it's great for people to hold off if they don't currently have one.
I think again, the one thing it seems to be is that this is more about making sure the Switch powers through 100 million sales rather than trying to replicate what the Switch has already done, because that's not going to happen. Like I still have a base PS4. I was never going to get a PS4 Pro because I don't want to spend another £400 like 4 years after I'd already spent it. And I think that's perfectly well made. The one final thing I would say on this before we move on to something else, unless anyone else has anything to say, is that apparently the one other thing that's been added is there will be some exclusive titles for the Switch Pro. Now, they haven't stated whether this is first party or third party before, because I was like, oh, they clearly won't do first party, but they did it with the Nintendo 3DS. With the new 3DS, there was a couple of games that were exclusive to the new 3DS. Xenoblade Chronicles was one of them. Fire Emblem Warriors was another. So Nintendo do have previous for doing that as well. So, yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Are they going to fix the
Joy-Cons?
The drift?
God,
it's not a problem, Zach. How many times do we have to tell you?
Dav's
That's not a problem.
Dav's a representative of Nintendo. Is here to tell us once again. There's not a problem.
Dav's uncle works for Nintendo.
But is it just going to be the same Joy-Cons, or are they going to be like Joy-Con Pros?
No, I imagine they'll be the same. I think they have to be really to make sure they work with the other ones.
If the screen's bigger, though, then that means the console's bigger.
Well, apparently, so I got my Switch here. So if anyone watching this on YouTube, I don't know if you can see this. So
is
apparently,
it just going to stretch out?
It's just going to stretch out, and it'll just be going to the edges, but it'll still work in the same way. You'll just go straight in like that.
What are you playing?
Oh, Super Mario 3D World. That was the last game I played. Bowser's Fury. So that tells you how long ago I played that. That was last week.
Game he ever played.
But yeah, that's it. Switch Pro apparently is coming up by the end of this year. Yeah, let's move on. So this is, according to Jörg Breitheit in Spiegel, the German government wants to protect children from cost traps in gaming, which is in reference to loot boxes. The Bundestag has passed a reform of the Youth Protection Act. This law could bring stricter age ratings for video games and is intended to protect children from harassment on platforms like Facebook. I'll explain why this is interesting. According to lawyer Julia Maris, the law will have an impact on the age restrictions of certain games. Online games or other applications that use loot boxes or similar in-games offers would probably be classified with an age rating of 18 and over. They specifically mentioned FIFA 21 would then be put at 18. Now, I guess the question is, do you think EA will care about the fact that their football game is now an 18 plus game? It's not for everyone anymore. It's 18 plus. I don't think it'll impact sales because parents will buy their kids Grand Theft Autos. I don't think it really matters. But do you think that EA will care? And if they do care, do you think they'll actually do something about it? I guess that's two questions.
I think EA definitely care. Like having a game put as a 3 plus on the shelf or an 18 plus, like sends a message. And also like when you send your kid to the game shop because you need to do some proper shopping, and you're like, right, I'll come pick you up in half an hour. They can't get FIFA. They can't do that impulse buy of going, right, I want to get FIFA. And the whole impulse buying is the whole issue of why they try and manipulate children into paying for loot boxes, and cracking packs in Ultimate Team. So I think they're not going to lose like money in the big numbers terms. It's not going to matter in the big numbers, but like it looks bad. Yeah, like
it's an image thing. It's absolutely an image thing.
This football game that you've made isn't suitable for children. What? Like that sounds bad.
That's
But then what was the other question you asked, sorry?
So the other one, do you think they'll actually do anything about it? Do you think they'll actually do anything to change their ways? Or do you think they'll just try and manipulate it so that... I don't know.
They'll wait until they see a dip in money. If they don't see a dip in money, there's no way they're changing it.
Yeah.
And if they do change it, it'll only be to make sure they can keep getting money, not to protect children from their disgusting manners.
Yeah.
And how they treat them in games.
It is interesting because, I mean, obviously we all grew up in a period where this just wasn't a thing. I can't imagine what it must be like growing up now playing a game and just that's what you expect. You expect that you have to spend like sometimes like triple the amount in the game itself after you've bought the game. It just seems... I know we do that with DLC now, but that's... I don't know, with loot boxes and stuff, it's so shady.
Well, yeah, I mean, DLC is like additional content. It's like a game. It's like game 1.5. Loot boxes, like when it's just like skins. And,
it is gambling, like, isn't it? When you think about it, it really is just gambling.
For your guns and weapons and stuff. That's not value. It's not value because it's not really content.
Yeah,
it just isn't.
I think people can have value in it, but the randomness of it, like. That's why it was so hard for them to like get movement on stopping loot boxes, is because there isn't any intrinsic value to the things you're getting from them. Like the whole problem with gambling is you're giving in money, you're getting out money. Whereas in this, it's like, well, can the things you get be resold? No? Well, then they don't have any value. It's like, well, people spend a lot of money on these things. They clearly value them in some way, but it's the way they manipulate these people into assuming value onto these things, or assuming a greater value than maybe should be placed on them. That is an issue for me. Zach, I know you love FIFA. Does this make you more interested? What if the 18 plus now meant that you'd have blood and like guns in FIFA?
I'm so out of my depth with football games. I just don't get it at all. I think you're right. I mean, that is the thing though, right? I mean, like it comes out every year, and like it has to be a bit of an impulse thing for young kids, right? Because they don't really know what they're getting out of it. Like, do kids know the difference between like FIFA 20 and FIFA 19?
I think a lot. I was gonna say I think a lot of it might just be the fact that their friends have got the newer one, and maybe there's just an element of my friend has 21, but I only have 20. Oh, mum, I need this, and I don't know. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, but hopefully this is gonna change. It does seem, and I think we've said this previously, that Europe in general seems to be fighting against this, which. I mean, that's a huge market to start turning against you, especially when the majority, I imagine the biggest sales for FIFA come from Europe, considering, that's where most people, well, everyone in Europe seems to love football. But yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll see what happens. Yeah, awesome. Let's move on. So I actually mentioned this the other day, and I just want to mention it very, very briefly. And it's sad news, but I just want us to kind of honor honor this person just very quickly. Nobuo Uematsu might have penned his final full game score, according to Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi. Talking to Mobile Syrup, Sakaguchi said, before we approached him to work on Fantasia, and he was going through some health issues, and there were concerns if he was going to be able to compose everything, or if it was even possible for him to work on this. I think he kind of hinted that Fantasian is maybe the last game that he does from end to end in terms of scoring an entire soundtrack. So obviously he's not saying that he's going to stop writing music, but it does seem like this is going to be the last game with a full score by Nobuo Uematsu. And it is sad. Like, for me, it is really sad. I grew up listening to his music. I'm thinking, what, like, this is amazing. You know, this, I'd love to hear this live, and I was lucky enough to do that a couple of years ago. But can I also just say, as a side note, I'm really gutted that Fantasian is only on iOS. Like, I'm really sad.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But like, that game looks so gorgeous. I really, really want to play it. But yeah, I imagine you've all got favorite songs from Nobuo Uematsu. Maybe not so much that, because I imagine with Final Fantasy as well, it's not so. I mean, which pick one from Final Fantasy 13, your favorite Final Fantasy game.
Do you know what? To be fair, you know what? Actually, weirdly enough, to be fair, if there's anything good to be taken from Final Fantasy 13, it's probably the score.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he wrote it, so it's absolutely fine.
Oh, really?
But no, he wouldn't have even wrote it anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because he's amazing. We just actually got this news about 2 hours ago, and we're just going to quickly mention it because Dav was very excited about it, and we're all very excited about it as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is getting a new game, and it looks really good as well. It's made by the same people as Streets of Rage 4. And what else? It's Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim as well. So they're making it in the old style. I've got a quote here from, I believe it's Jean-Francis Major, had this to say: "We wanted to bring a game back for the fans of the 87 animated series and also the old arcade games of the 90s because we felt that people missed it, and including us, because personally I played those games a lot as a kid and I missed them a lot. So that was the idea that started it. It looks great. It looks like a lot of fun. And Dav, we streamed Streets of Rage 4.
We did. Well,
God, like 6 months, about 6 months ago now, and that was such a great game. So
much fun.
If they do what they did to that game, to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then I'm excited. Looks great. Let's get on to the final quick topic. And gents, if you want to buy your Mario stuff, make sure you do it in the next 2-3 weeks because we're coming up to that date, the 31st of March. And it is actually, Day. I was just about to say, the special title of Super Mario Bros. 35th. It is Mario Day. Is Mario Day? As we're recording it, March 10th, it is Mario Day. Japan is very happy about this. I've been seeing tweets about it all day. But yeah, there was a tweet that basically said, Happy Mario Day. Make sure you get your games before March 31st, and we're taking them away. One of the last lines from Twitter is, please note that you will not be able to play after April 1st. And that's it. So like this really wonderful, like, Happy Mario Day. You won't be able to play these games if you don't buy them now. So, yeah. And I think actually the 3D Mario collection has actually just skyrocketed up the UK charts recently because obviously people are like, holy shit, I need to buy it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Happy Mario Day, guys. Right, let's talk about games we're playing. Does anyone want to start? Actually, should me and Dav? Daf Weeks, I don't know what you're going to talk about, but I'm going to just very quickly go first because I feel like you're probably going to chime in what we've been playing. And me and Dav streamed A Way Out together, which I didn't really know much about. I know that it's Joseph Fares, right? I believe that's his name. It was really good, like surprisingly good. I didn't know what to expect, and basically, if you don't know the game, you basically have to play it in two. You have to play 2-player. It can only be played with 2 people, and your screen is split completely down the middle, and you're watching both people's screens. You have to do things at the same time. The whole thing is working together, and it was so satisfying. I did laugh like at one point in the stream, like, Dad, we're gonna get these 2 people. We choked them out. I was like, wow, that was so satisfying. Like choking these 2 people out. I was like, oh, that came across wrong. I meant like working together, not murdering someone. That was what I meant. But it was a lot of fun, and I think we just escaped prison. We've just escaped prison, and I don't know. We got to, like, it was about an hour and 50 minutes we put in, and I was just really shocked at how good the story is, how interesting it was, and it makes me want to play his other games as well because I think It Takes Two is coming out soon, and it was, I can't remember, I think it's Brothers, but I can't remember that little section after it. There's
Brothers: The Tale of Two Sons.
That's the one. Brothers: Tale of Two Sons, and that's supposed to be a great game. And It Takes Two is getting like a lot of decent previews and reviews. So
weirdly, Brothers isn't a co-op game.
Is it not?
You play as both brothers.
Yeah.
I thought it was a co-op game. I thought that was the whole.
Yeah.
I thought
he must have done that and gone, I wish I'd made that co-op.
absolutely. No, honestly, a way out. Like, it works so well. Although the entire time, me and Dad just kept talking about how there was just like this love happening between the two characters, and we were also
it felt a bit Brokeback, didn't it?
It was. I mean, love is love. Love is love, and we were loving it. But one thing I will say is, we did have Reese on Wrestling, who was in there, and we were asking people to come up with names for the session, and the name they came up with is Orange is the New Zach. And that's why I put it in the group yesterday, Zach, because you're probably wondering what the hell are you talking about.
I saw it and I was like, I'm just gonna ignore that.
I'm gonna ignore that. But we really enjoyed that. So
very nice.
I was chuckling
pun.
to myself about that. But yeah, I was really enjoying it, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Unless Daf Weeks has anything else to add on top of.
Really fun game.
It was really fun.
Just like I said in the stream, like it's a bold choice to do a game that can only be played with two people. You know. What I love about it is, like, clearly you're in it for the game. You're not in it for the money. Like when you develop a game like that,
and it's EA as well. That's the thing. It shocked me the most. I know it's only published by EA, but still.
Yeah, so it's worth it because you know it's like a passion project. Then you know, and I love a high concept thing which is very unique.
Yeah,
like that.
I will just add one final thing onto it. At the end of the stream, like me and Dav we jumped in a police car. We were casually, like, he was wearing a policeman's hat with his like prison outfit on. And he was like casually just driving, like I was like, Dav, you're gonna have to slam, you know, just Dav, just drive. And then we did a flip, and it was horrifying and terrifying. And I can't wait to do more of it. And let's end there. All right, should we go, Dav Gape? What have you been playing?
Hello. Been playing a few things actually. So I finished Gravity Rush 1, Gravity Rush Remastered. Really nice game. Some really strong female leads in that game, and an amazing cat who gives you superpowers. So you know,
can you pet the cat?
You can, and
great game.
And the cat sleeps in your bed.
Oh, 11 out of 10. I don't know anything else about the game, but 11 out of 10.
Cat sleeps in your bed, and throws up at one point. So
9 out of 10.
9,
but throws up like this antimatter that destroys bad guys.
15 out of 10.
Nice, nailed it. That's a really fun game. It's not too long. If you've got a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, it's on PS Now. It's definitely worth a shot. PS Now is going to be my new Game Pass.
Just nowhere near as much love, though. It's like, it's shit, but it's fine.
Well, it's funny you bring up Game Pass, which you definitely did. Gardens Between is another game I played recently. Streamed it on Saturday and played the whole thing, 2 hours. Lovely game. At first glance, it's like, oh, this should be co-op as well, actually, speaking of Joseph Fares. But it's not, and once you play it, you realise why. Yeah. The whole gimmick of it is these two friends in a treehouse in a thunderstorm. And I think the idea is they're sort of looking through memories of, like, their childhood growing up together as best friends. And the mechanic is they get transported to these sort of islands that are made of rock, but also, like, items like that are poignant to their memories, which is really well designed. And right trigger makes time go forward, left trigger makes time go back, and then depending on where the characters are, because they're just sort of traversing around the island, and you've got to get a light to the top for each island. Depending on where they are is like whether you can find a light to like light your lantern, or there are these like robots things that are popping around, and they are all, and everything's connected through this time thing, and it's really well designed. Couple hours, absolute joy to play. Really lovely. But the main game I want to talk about is Killzone Shadowfall.
Ooh, right.
So this is a PS4 launch game.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games I never played. I've never really played any Killzone games. And I thought, well, this one's about not too long. I want to smash through it, so I've played it, you know. It's one of those games like, I want to play that so that I've played it and I can have an opinion and stuff. Anyway, so it's such a 7 out of 10 game. And it's that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like 7 out of 10 is not a bad rating, but like, and there's some really interesting things in it. It's made by Guerrilla Games, who then went on to make Horizon Zero Dawn. So you know, they clearly know what they're doing. Like Herman Hulst, the game director. Yeah, there's some really cool ideas in there, but it's marred by really clunky like movement and some very cheesy lines in there, and tied to this sort of a bit rubbish, boring lore of sort of like good. There's good humans, and then there's these bad humans, but they're different races. And in all the other games, I think what happens is eventually the good humans manage to blow up the bad humans' planet, and then all the bad humans go, "Oh, we're going to do the same to you." And there's a scientist here who's made a weapon that we can use to do it. And then you've got to like stop them. But then the good humans, the guy in charge of the good humans is like a bad person. So then you've got to go there. It's just a lot cliche in there. But there's so many like little interesting things in there, and like some really cool mechanics. Like you have this drone with you the whole time, and the drone can do up to 4 different things that you choose using the touchpad on the controller. And one thing I loved, and it's something that, because I never had a PS3 or PS4, I never really experienced. And it's something I loved in The Last of Us, actually. When you turns your flashlight on and off, the sound comes out of the controller.
Yeah.
In Killzone Shadowfall, if you find a voice note, you know, it's like a collectible voice note, as it were, it plays automatically through your controller. So you're playing the game and getting that, and not having to like, don't you hate it when you have to like stand next to a voice note to get a bit of like the story, and you're like, I want to play a game.
It's funny because The Last of Us does that too, but it does make you sit there.
It does.
So it comes out of your controller, but you still have to sit there. Weird.
I think
so Killzone is better than The Last of Us.
Yeah, well, apparently.
I'm trying to remember if in the tapes in BioShock you have to stand next to them.
You do. You do.
Right.
But you don't, I don't think, in BioShock Infinite.
You don't in BioShock.
Except for the fact that in BioShock Infinite, they make it so that whenever there's a voice note, there's also dialogue going on. They always time it out completely. It's so annoying. I really don't like BioShock Infinite like at all. But that's one of my one of the many frustrations I have with that game.
I was going to say something, but I can't remember which game it was from. But basically, I'm going to say it. There's a game in which you find voice notes, and they happen about the same time as the dialogue's about to happen, but it cuts off the voice note. And then
what's the point? What's the
point? There's no way of listening to it again, and you're like, it's annoying because stand there for 2 minutes.
It's annoying because voice notes are a cool way of like storytelling, right?
Yeah,
it's a really good way of getting new information, and you don't have to sit there and like read a thing. You know, you can play the game, like you say, get on with playing the game, but also get some extra. What a waste.
But yes, Killzone Shadowfall, 7 out of 10. Play it if you're looking for something to do.
Great review.
Awesome. Sugar Daf Weeks. What have you been playing?
Well, I just stopped streaming a game that I mentioned that I was interested in last week, and that is Frostpunk by the guys who did This War of Mine.
Yeah,
and you really feel the connection between the two. Like thematically, it's very similar, very bleak. Very hard.
Is it?
Well, yeah. Like I was really struggling to get my resource management set. Like, so obviously the comparable game is Civ. Really, you're building a community as opposed to maybe a whole civilization. You've got people who you're responsible for, and there's a lot of resources you need to manage. So it's got all of that, except it
ticks all of the Daf Weeks boxes.
Yeah, there we go. But them resources is scarce because it's some kind of horrible -30-degree winter, and you're in a crater, and it's just this horrible thing where like you've got this generator right in the middle, and everything kind of like grows out from there. You grow your city out from the generator in the middle, so things that are right next to it will remain warm, providing you've got enough coal. But then as you build more and more and you get more and more people, you find survivors and stuff, and they all come, and you need people to come support the town. But of course, when people come, you need to build more shit. And by building more shit, you're going further away from the core, which means you need to update that core, get it more efficient, you need more coal again.
Right.
And just it's teetering on a knife edge. Just trying to get that thing growing, you know. Basically, not long after the stream, I ran out of trees, and that's kind of ruined it. I might have to do a whole other playthrough now and not run out of trees. Because also, like, you're in this crater, there's limited resources. And you need to develop the technology to be able to extract the resources from the ground instead of relying on it lying around you. And I just did not do that, clearly. And then, yeah, so, like, it's a hard game. I was finding it tricky. And then, basically, I ended the stream at the point where, basically, people were like, I don't know, I've got a bad feeling about living in this crater. We should try and get back to London. And then, basically, half your town become dissidents and want to try and leave, and they're rioting and causing havoc.
What?
And it's like,
Swines.
oh, cheers, mate. But what's good about it, I mean, obviously it boosts up how bloody hard the game is, but also there's me being my little socialist lefty boy that I am, where everyone's allowed to do what they want, you know? Represent yourself. You believe you want to go back to London, you believe you go back to London. But it's a problem, and then it's like, do I need to set up a police state? Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
I don't want to do that. And then the
please.
other option was to set up a community based on faith and spirituality, and I didn't really want to do that either. It's like, these are two very, very bad things in my eye for, you know, a nice harmonious life. So, oh, it's the bell. Yeah, and
are you going to go back to
was
it?
hard.
Are you going to do another stream of it, do you reckon?
Oh, I probably will do another stream of it, but I'm certainly going to keep playing it.
Nice.
Like, I'm wondering if I can reset to like that point. So, because basically, there's no point streaming from where I am now because I feel like I'm 2 days away from losing. But I'll gladly have another crack at it.
Awesome. Anything else? Anything else, Dave?
Broforce was great.
Oh, Broforce is what we did play. Broforce. That was we had the most broy 2 days. It was so weird, but it was great.
Such good bros.
Such good bros. Zach, what have you been playing, man?
Well, speaking of this war of mine, I went and bought it right after we spoke about it last.
Oh yeah,
was it
nice.
last week?
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to play it until a couple of days ago. It's really good. I'm not going to say too much because we've already talked about it. But my first playthrough, I had 3 guys. One of them got sick. The other one, I didn't understand that there are certain. It doesn't hold your hand very much. So like I didn't know that. There's like an icon that shows that you're stealing and an icon that shows that you're scavenging, and I didn't know the difference between the two, so I looked like I was stealing something, and as soon as I realized, I was like, oh no, I'll stop. And then some guy came out and just shanked me. So then I got back, and the guy who was sick had died. The guy who got shanked died, so I had one guy left who was super depressed. I had a new guy come in. The guy who was depressed then killed himself. So then I decided, since I had one guy left with no resources, I was going on an all-out assault to avenge the first death, which ultimately led to the final guy killing himself out of guilt, which was an amazing story to go through. It felt like a really depressing indie epic of. It was great. It's really great. I think it sounds very depressing, and it is, but yeah, I think it's well worth a go. I think it's a very cool like storytelling game. It doesn't feel too slow. It doesn't feel too actiony. It feels like just the right amount to balance that really, bleak environment. And it's different every time, kind of thing. I'm on a new one now, and I've got the same 3 guys, I think, but I'm in a different house, which is kind of interesting. And like the different places you go to are set up differently. So I went to the school, and I was like, oh, I'll go to the school because that was safe last time. And I got there, and it was not safe at all. So it was kind of, it makes for a very interesting like new experience each time. Also, I think we should talk about, if we have time, talk about the new Nuzlocke rule that Dav came up with. So the Nuzlocke, like, it's great. I'm not going to talk about it because we're going to be streaming it, but I want to talk about the rule where if whoever gets beats a gym leader first kills one of the other person's Pokemon off. It's such a good idea, and you were so right to champion that plan, because it's absolutely so clutch. We're going to be back doing it on Friday. We've both now killed off one of each other's team, and they were both major players in what we needed. You killed off 2 of mine. I've killed off 2 of yours. That's right. I did get Surge. But it was one of your ones you didn't really need. But we both killed off a major player. Because I killed off your Brock team, and you killed off my Misty team.
Mm-hmm. Do you get to pick which one you kill?
No, random generator.
It's random generator. And both times we killed off the ones that we needed to win the fight.
The ones that we spent the entire session grinding up so we could get to the next gym. And it's so good because I had in the first session on the Friday, I had a Mankey and you had a female Nidoran, and the female Nidoran levels up quicker. So we'll get double kick at level 16, so fighting type move, that's what you want to beat the rock type Pokemon that Brock has. I had a Mankey, which is a fighting type Pokemon. Great. But I needed to level up a bit because it was low level, but it takes ages to level up. So while I was trying to do that, he went and got Brock, random number generator. I went, right, quick, he's about to fight Brock. I need to go and find another Pokemon. So I found a Pidgey, called it Flappy. Flappy is God. He beat Brock, random number generator, bang. The one Pokemon I've been leveling up. I'm like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. So they were gone. In the box, never to be seen again. In the coffin, we should call it. And so then I was like, right, well, by the end of that first session, I was like, well, I've got to end it with a Brock fight, haven't I? So I went like under leveled.
Oh, you were not in a good way to be going into that fight.
I was not in a good way. And, I lost Pikachu on the trainer in the gym before Brock. And I'd been grinding up Pikachu so it would learn quick attack. So I lost that. And so I went in with a level 10 Butterfree and my Pidgey and a level 4 Nidoran in the back that was doing nothing. And I had a tactic and it worked. And then my Butterfree died. R.I.P. Marge. Because you have to nickname all the Pokemon as well. But Flappy, my Pidgey, survived with 3 HP. And it was the most epic end to a stream I've had in my entire existence.
It was very, very good.
And just as a viewer experience, because we're multi-streaming, so we've got me and Zach side by side, and you can watch both of us. And so, like, when it came to the second gym, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do it," I was like, "Chap, don't say anything." I was like sneaking up
because I was chilling. I was just like, I'll just keep grinding, make sure I'm not going to lose anyone, be really chill. And then all of a sudden, I was like, all right, I'm going to go a couple more levels, and then I'll go. And then all of a sudden, Dav's like, oh, I'm in it. I'm fighting Misty.
Reading out what Misty says,
and I was like, no, look, because there's no way I was going to get there in time. And then I lost my ace in the hole that I'd spent my whole session grinding. But then, so then I had to rush it, and I that was not something I wanted to do because Misty is a game ender because you don't really have anything to counter water at that stage except Pikachu, which we weren't allowing. We had to get rid of Pikachu after like the first gym anyway. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting how the next session goes because you're a little behind.
I am.
You're a little behind.
I am.
I managed to claw it back by taking some risks. It's interesting because it does force us into taking big risks in a way that a normal Nuzlocke doesn't really.
Yeah, if you're just doing a Nuzlocke on your own, which is like sort of, if for those who don't know, special rules that make it harder, basically. You can sort of take your time. You can like grind away until all your Pokemon are like super overleveled and then just plow through it. Whereas like with how we're doing with the race against each other, it's like, well, if Zach gets to a gym before me, I could lose my best Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that'll ruin my run. I'll have to start again. And then every time he beats another gym, I'll have to lose another one. It's like an impossible thing. So you just have to try and keep up with them.
I'm like a bit tempted to go and race and just try and get through as many as possible and try and wreck your team. But they're all super high leveled from now. Yeah. So
if you wipe out, that's
it. And then you'll be miles ahead. So
would you describe it as Pokemon Hell?
Yeah. Yellow.
I've been holding on to that for about 5 minutes. Whew.
That's how I experienced you guys playing Pokemon Stadium was Pokemon Hell.
All right, let's do the quiz. Let's go into the quiz.
Yes.
Because of Bethesda being taken over by Microsoft, the first 5 questions will be Bethesda, Softworks, and ZeniMax questions.
Lovely.
But I think most of you, I think you've played most of these. Right, question number 1. Let me just get everyone's names. Question number 1. The voice of Parthenax in Skyrim was provided by a famous American voice artist, but which one? Was it Charles Martinet, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, or Troy Baker?
Which character?
Parthenax.
Say the names again.
Charles Martinet, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Troy Baker.
I don't know that second one.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy is the voice actor for Batman. So he's the voice actor for Batman in the games and the animated series from the 90s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now you've said that, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, come here.
I don't know. And then it was Troy Baker and...
So
Mark Hamill,
Charles
Luke Skywalker.
Martinet, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Troy Baker.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm not sure.
I'd love it if it was Charles Martinet.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Do you guys have answers?
Wahoo!
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, press enter. Daf Gape, go first.
Mark Hamill.
Daf Weeks
Hamill.
and Zach.
Hamill.
Hello! It's a Charles Martinet. It's Charles
Oh
Martinet.
my God.
It's actually
No.
Charles Martinet.
Charles Martinet? Are you
Yep,
joking?
No, he does the voice of Parthenax in Skyrim.
On Mario Days.
I read that earlier, and I was
What the
like,
fuck?
I take
What
an arrow
the
to the
hell?
knee.
yeah.
I thought that was a joke answer.
No. He's actually the right answer. That was actually the right answer.
Wow.
All right. The Evil Within was directed by which of these famous video game directors? And they all worked with Capcom. Was it Hideki Kamiya, Hiroyuki Kobayashi, or Shinji Mikami? The Evil Within was directed by which of these famous video game directors? Hideki Kamiya, Hiroyuki Kobayashi, or Shinji Mikami? Do you guys have answers?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Daf Weeks.
Mikami.
Zach.
Mikami.
You've all said Mikami, so you're all good.
Hey.
You all said Mikami. It was a point for
What does
Mikami.
Kobayashi do?
He's with Capcom. I can't remember. He's directed some of the. I think he's directed some of the
Yeah.
Resident Evil games.
Maybe, yeah.
Kobayashi. I just can't
Is
picture it.
maybe him and Mikami have done like different Resident Evil
I
games?
think that's what it is. Fallout. This is a Fallout question. What is the name of your robot handyman in Fallout 4? Is it? Do you want the answers?
Yeah.
Codsworth, Cavendish, Dickens, Pemberton.
Say them
Codsworth.
again.
Got it.
Codsworth, Cavendish, Dickens, Pemberton.
I feel like I might be... I think I might be being baited here.
Yeah.
Codsworth, Cavendish, Dickens, Pemberton.
I'm torn between two.
When I get
I
it's just
pretty
when
sure
I
I
get to
know
the
it.
Pemberton, it's just like, hello, I better shine your shoes, Governor. Pemberton. All right,
They're all like that.
I don't know. It's just because but by the time I get to Pemberton, I'm just
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah,
I'm there.
yeah.
I've transcended
Yeah.
like, whatever it is. All right, do you guys have answers?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Presenter Zach, go first.
Codsworth.
You all said
Cogsworth!
God. What did you say? Okay, it's right. It's right.
Dav said Cogsworth.
So the answer is Beauty and the Beast.
If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it.
All right, question number 4. Dishonored 2 obviously had a working title before being officially announced, but can you guess which one? Is it Black Sparrow, Petronia, or White Snowfinch?
Say those again.
Dishonored 2. Oh, you don't need the question. Okay, so it's Black Sparrow, Petronia, White Snowfinch.
They're all cool names.
All birds. Black Sparrow, Petronia, or White Snowfinch. Again, Dishonored 2 is a bloody good game.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that game.
Code name or like project name?
So it was the working title. So before it was officially announced, this is the title that the game was under.
Okay.
Okay, do you guys have answers?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1,
This has
press
got to
enter.
be
And
wrong.
Dab Gape, go first.
Petronia.
Dab Weeks.
Petronia.
And Zach.
White Snowfinch.
It's Black Sparrow.
I changed my mind.
Black
It just seemed
Sparrow.
too obvious, but...
It's the answer, Black Sparrow.
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. In what year did ZeniMax Media acquire the rights to Wolfenstein? 2012, 2013, or 2014?
Oh, that's a lot later than I thought. Okay.
Do you guys have answers?
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Daf Weeks go first.
12.
Zach?
12.
Oh, you all said 2012 anyway.
Yeah.
It's 2014.
Damn it.
Wow.
Really late. It was really late. Surprisingly late.
When did Wolfenstein New Blood come out?
I think it was 2014. But I think...
I'm guessing they didn't do Return to
they
Castle
just-
Wolfenstein.
But they were already making the game. It was just when ZeniMax Media acquired...
So they were making it. They were like commissioned to do it, and then they thought, well, actually,
and then
let's just buy the
ZeniMax.
license.
Yeah, they just bought. They bought the
okay.
company. Yeah. Okay. Oh wait, play that kazoo. We've done our 5. Holy crap! Here we go.
Get that kazoo out.
Play that kazoo. Let me just get it out.
Play that kazoo.
Here we go. You ready?
Here we go.
Oh, by the way, I will give you a hint for this one. This is a specific game. If you do say the series, then I will give you half a point, but I want the game, okay? So I'm gonna give you help.
What if we say a specific game in the series, but it's the wrong game? Do we still get half a point?
I will give you half a point. I will give you half a point for that. I will give you half a point. Okay, here we go.
Wow, you did the whole thing.
Don't ask me to do that again. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm almost certain I've got this bang on.
Oh, I'm so upset. I know it. Jonny, do it again. No, I'm joking.
I'll tell you what, I'll do the opening again. It's just... Oh, okay. Oh god.
You just wanna.
I can't help but groove when I'm doing that.
God.
I should have taken that up as a career.
Oh man,
I don't
such a good
know.
instrument.
I don't know.
It's annoying. I've got a guess.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press enter. Daf Gape.
Skyward Sword.
Daf Weeks.
Super Metroid.
It is... What is it, Zach?
It's Mario Galaxy,
It's
motherfucker.
Mario Galaxy.
Really?
It's
not recognise that.
Honestly, the soundtrack to that game is banging. That soundtrack is ridiculous.
I'd be offended. Dav just said he didn't recognise it at all.
Didn't recognise it at all? Oh, that's my skills, probably. My kazoo playing skills. Okay, question number 7. How long does it take to fully complete Persona 5 Royal? And we're using the term completionist. Is it 125 hours, 135 hours, 145 hours, or 155 hours? And then I'm going to give you how long it takes to beat the game. After that, but that's not a question. I'll just
I
tell
bet
you
you
that.
like beating the game is like 12 hours or something bonkers.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you guys have answers?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Daf Gape,
155.
Daf Weeks,
155.
and Zach.
145.
It's 145.
God damn.
Okay, do you want to know how long it takes to beat the game
100.
normally? 103.
103.
Which is ridiculous. Like, it's one of the reasons why I really want to play Persona 5, but I just know that putting it...
You'll never
if
finish
you,
it.
If you know you've got to put 100 hours into a game, that's such an effort. Like,
Yeah.
50 is an effort.
a big
but, like,
commitment.
100, my God. Yeah, it was 145 and then 103 to just beat the game. Name that badly described game. Here we go, number 8. Prickly Boy races to beat up a genius doctor on a lush green hill. Prickly Boy races to beat up a genius doctor on a lush green hill.
Do you want a
Too
specific?
easy, Jonny. This
You
one's
want a
too
specific-
easy.
Well, I
title?
try to give you an easy one, just because I know some of them have been ridiculously hard recently.
They have. They've been so hard.
It's honestly, it's so hard to think of them. I just sit there going, "What should I do?"
Do you want a specific title or
Go with the game you think, and we'll answer it afterwards. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All of you press enter. I mean, you all said it. It's Sonic. It's actually Mario Odyssey. So you're wrong. No, it's Sonic the Hedgehog.
That Mario, he's a prickly boy.
Yeah, I was gonna put businessman create prickly boy to create to beat up genius doctor, but then I thought that might be the businessman might have thrown you off.
That would have thrown us. Yeah.
That is what happened though. That is exactly what happened. Okay, question number 9. In the manual for Super Mario Bros. On NES, a short story summary says that the Koopas turned all of the land's people into what? Blocks, Goombas, or power-ups?
Oh, I remember this. It's really bleak. Whichever one it is, it's super bleak.
In the manual for Super Mario Bros. On NES, a short story summary says that the Koopas turned all of the land's people into what? Blocks, Goombas, or power-ups? Do you guys have answers?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, press enter. Daf Gape, I'm just going to go with you first.
Blocks.
Daf Weeks.
Goombas.
And Zach.
I've said blocks.
It's blocks.
Yeah.
They turn them into blocks. Yeah, turn them into blocks.
Sad.
They do turn them into Goombas in the film.
Yeah.
They do.
That's what they do.
That's right.
We need to do a video games Ahoy watches. Let's watch it because that film is
Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do some awesome marriage.
You Mario. Who are you? Luigi Mario. How many Marios are there? There's 3. There's Mario and Luigi Mario. That made it into the film, apparently. Okay. This is it, gents. It's the moment
that made it into the film. That whole film made it into the film.
Yeah. Do you know? Apparently, like there was like real issues because like they wanted to make it. There was like a real thing where they wanted to make it like a dystopian world, which they kind of did, but they didn't want to make it silly. And then there was like this big. It's like a whole thing apparently. And I think Bob Hoskins almost died as well. Like when he was filming it, it was crazy. All right, I've got my wheel. Let's find the fortune. Here we go. Wheel of misfortune. Here we go. Also, if it lands on me, whoever gets it right just gets 2 points. Okay. Here we go. Is Zach again?
It's me again. Okay, well, I think I might be ahead, so I think I'm going to go for my own question.
Okay, you're going to go for your own question, all right? But like I said, if you do get this wrong, then I will give 2 points to the other guys, just because. Okay, what is the opening level called in Star Fox 64?
Oh, nice. We probably all know this.
No, we don't.
No, we do not.
We really
well,
don't.
To be fair, this is the wheel of misfortune. To be fair, I mean, this is the first time Daf Weeks has experienced it.
Oh wait, say the question again in case I misheard it, because I feel like I might have misheard it.
What is the opening level called in Star Fox 64?
Okay. I had a moment where I was like, maybe you said Super Star Fox is. What's it called? Just Star Fox?
Yeah.
It's probably just Star Fox.
First Star Fox is Star Fox.
Yeah, Star Fox. Then Star Fox 2, but that got canned, didn't it? All right. Do you guys have answers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Daf Gape, what you got?
Lilac.
Daf Weeks.
Yeah, I thought like Lilac City.
And Zach.
Cornelia.
Can I just say, I really enjoyed Lilac City. I just really enjoyed it.
It sounds right.
It sounds right.
I would buy that.
It just could
I remember it was urban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means the final scores are in. Daf Weeks got 3, Daf Gape got 4, and Zach got 8.
Fucking hell. Fair play.
Man. Yeah. One
Daf
of these
Weeks,
days.
mate. Pull up your socks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, to be fair, there was one day, Dav, it's going to land on you because it's. You've all. Oh no,
I've had it twice now.
You've had it twice, and Dav's had it once, and yeah. Well, hopefully one day.
Maybe it's broken. Maybe if
no, I put a. What I've done is I put a little magnet in the back of your name. So
yeah.
That's what I've done.
Now Johnny doesn't give me the answers anymore, so he has to find a new way of making it so I win.
It's on my hand. Right. That is the end of podcast number 46. Thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoyed the show, then please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Tell your friends and give us a review or a comment because it would really mean the world to us. And if you'd like to support us, then please go ahead and check out our Patreon page, Video Games Ahoy. We've just finished a Hall of Fame episode, which is a lot of fun. But if you can't afford to give us any money on Patreon, that's absolutely fine. We really, really don't mind. We're just glad you're listening to us. We just really appreciate that. We're also proud to say that we're affiliated with Green Man Gaming. So if you do have any gaming needs, hit up the link in the description below. We're all streaming at the moment on the Video Games Ahoy channel and DavEG as well. Like I said, they're doing their Pokemon Nuzlocke. Maybe me and Daf Weeks will be doing a way out again next week. So by the time you listen to this, or maybe on the Tuesday, who knows? We'll see. But keep an eye out for the Pokemon Nuzlockes because there's a lot. There's 2 a week, isn't there? Friday, Sunday. Friday and Sunday. Keep an eye. So yeah, look. If you listen to this Sunday, check out Sunday. Anything else? Discord. Check out our Discord. Come say hi. Just join the Discord. We absolutely don't mind if you come in and say hello. And look out for more information on the upcoming live stream on Twitch, which should be on Wednesday, April the 7th, which is the day. The Wednesday is the day we normally do the podcast, so we should be doing that live on April the 7th, which should be a lot of fun. That's it. Well, with Video Games Ahoy, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.